So today, we're talking about a piece of engineering that pretty much rips up the rulebook on what a bridge is supposed to be. Seriously, this is not just about getting from point A to point B. This is about conquering impossible geography, absolutely smashing world records, and building a literal destination in the sky. Let's get into how this thing is changing the game.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the impact. Why even build something so extreme? Well, it's all about solving a huge time-wasting problem with a solution that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Okay, just picture this. You've got a drive that takes up to 2 hours, and it's on these sketchy, winding roads carved into the side of a mountain. Now, how on earth do you take that entire journey and shrink it down to the time it takes to listen to half a pop song?
Well, there's your answer. 2 minutes, that is the new travel time across the Huajiang Grand Canyon, all thanks to this one bridge. It's a jump in efficiency that's almost hard to wrap your head around. But, how is that even possible? It all comes down to one thing: height.
The deck of this bridge, the road you drive on, is soaring 625 meters above the river at the bottom of the canyon. And, yep, that officially makes it the highest bridge anywhere on the planet. Now, to give you a real sense of what that number means,
That's right. Imagine taking the Eiffel Tower, putting another one on top of it, and dropping the whole thing in a canyon. You'd still barely be reaching the road. We're talking about a structure on a completely monumental scale.
But you don't build something this big unless you have an equally big problem to solve. And to really get that, you have to understand where this bridge is. We're talking about China's Guizhou province, a place that's famous for its absolutely brutal and beautiful geography.
There's a local saying that just nails the challenge of this place. No 3 feet of level ground. And that's not just some poetic exaggeration, it is the daily reality there. And it's a total nightmare for anyone trying to build anything.
And here's what that reality looks like. Over 90% of the entire province is covered in mountains and hills. So for centuries, the only way to get around was on these winding, dangerous roads clinging to cliff sides. This meant communities were often cut off from each other, always living with the threat of landslides. This is the kind of terrain that we're just begging for a heroic solution.
And that heroic solution is the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge. This thing is a real statement piece. It wasn't just designed to tame this impossible landscape, but to become a total icon while doing it.
So what did they build? It's a steel truss suspension bridge. Now, the really cool thing about this design is that it's just perfect for a spot like this. It lets you stretch across a massive canyon without needing any support pillars down in the middle. Instead, you anchor the whole thing right into the solid rock of the canyon walls.
And the stats here are just wow. The total length is almost 3 kilometers. The main span, that's the distance between the 2 main towers, is over 1,400 meters. And then there's that number again, that world record height of 625 meters. Just to put that main span into perspective for you, it's longer than the UK's Humber Bridge. And the Humber Bridge held the world record for the longest single span for almost 20 years. That just shows you the incredible leap in scale we're looking at here.
So the big question is, how in the world do you actually build something this huge in such a hostile place? Well, it took some seriously next-level thinking. The team was literally engineering against the forces of nature. This chart really breaks it down. You had unstable mountain terrain, right? So they built asymmetrical towers of different heights. You had these crazy, unpredictable canyon winds. They fought back with advanced LiDAR and wind tunnel tests. Building at that insane height, they used a crane system guided by satellites. And to make sure the cables would last, they basically invented smart cables with built-in sensors.
Yeah, let's talk about that crane for a second. We are talking about lifting 22,000 tons of steel. That's about 3 Eiffel Towers worth of weight and piecing it all together more than 600 meters up in the air. They used China's own satellite system, Beidou, to place every single massive section with millimeter-level accuracy. It's just incredible.
And then you have the wind. A deep canyon like this acts like a massive wind tunnel, creating gusts that can be as fast as an express train. So to deal with that, the engineers use something called a Doppler LiDAR system. It shoots out lasers to create a live 3D model of the wind in real time. This let them see these invisible forces and build around them safely.
But, like we said at the beginning, the amazing engineering is really only half the story here. What makes this project a true revolution is that it was designed from day one to be way more than just a bridge.
See, this bridge has 2 totally different identities.
On the one hand, yeah, it's a critical piece of infrastructure. It's about transport, connecting people, boosting the economy. But on the other hand, it's a full-blown tourist destination, designed purely for adventure, sightseeing, and fun.
And I'm not talking about a little gift shop at the end. They have literally built a vertical theme park into the bridge itself. So you're not just driving across it. You can ride a 200-meter elevator with amazing views, grab a coffee at a cafe floating in the sky, walk out onto a huge glass observation deck. Oh, and if you're brave enough, you can even go bungee jumping or skydiving right off the side.
So when you put all of that together, what you get is a totally new idea. China's very first bridge tourism fusion complex. It's a model that perfectly blends a practical highway with a world-class tourist attraction, creating a whole new economic engine for the region.
And that just leaves us with this one really fascinating thought to chew on. This project proves that a bridge doesn't just have to be a bridge. It can be an experience, an attraction, a destination. So it makes you wonder, when our essential infrastructure starts serving these dual purposes, what does that mean for the future of the cities and landscapes we build? What comes next?